host, and this month we're just going to call it a variety show. Everybody loves a variety show. That's what this episode's going to be. First, starting off, this is an election year. Whenever there's an election, city, state, federal, guns are always up there in the top 10 list of issues. Maybe not number one, that's always the economy, and you always have abortions thrown in there and this, that, and the other. Federal spending, yada, 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 but guns are always in the top 10. It's very divisionary at times. You get the pro-gun people and the anti-gun people, and it just doesn't seem like there's any room for compromise. So the pro-gun, which I am a pro-gun person, but extremism in any form bothers me. So I run into pro-gun people that say, well, we should have no background checks, no training, it's their Second Amendment right, just we should all have guns, 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 guns. Okay? Then I meet anti-gun people. Oh no, nobody should have guns, or at the very worst case scenario, military and police. We're going to come back to that second. At Arm the Populace, our mission statement is very simple. We promote safe, responsible gun ownership and positive law enforcement interaction. Our dog in the fight, so to speak, is the concealed carry holder. That is who we do what we do for. So, what the heck does that mean? Okay, safe, responsible gun ownership. Let's look at the process as it is today. At 18 years old, I can go into Walmart, Bass Pro, and I can buy anything from a single shot 12 gauge to an AK-47. As long as I have no felonies and I haven't threatened the president or anything crazy like that, I can go legally buy this gun with no training. Maybe I read the instruction booklet, maybe I don't. For those of you that know guns, there's a big difference between a single shot 12 gauge and an AK-47. But by ATF standards, they're both long guns. They can be purchased, no training, no nothing. Okay? That's our system right now. At 21, you can go into a store. Again, as long as you can pass the background check, you can buy a handgun. Anything from a 5-shot 38 special to a Beretta 92 FS that has all kinds of bells and whistles on it. Again, no training. You get an instruction manual. All right. So, complaining without offering a solution is just whining. It's Teddy Roosevelt. I'll propose a solution. How about part of every high school senior year curriculum is a 1/4 or 1 semester class, Real Life Stuff 101. It can include everything from how to do your taxes roughly, to how to shut off a gas main in a house, how to change a flat tire, how to make sure a gun is safe. Because even if you hate guns, you hate them, you never want to see one or be around one. You're at a party. Someone comes out and says, hey, I have my great-grandfather's Colt 45 Peacemaker. Do you know how to make sure that gun's safe before they start weighing it around and playing Wyatt Earp? Probably be a good idea. Life you save could be your kids. So, going through the system as it is, there's probably better ways of doing it, but it's probably a good idea to have a system. So at 21, you can legally buy a handgun. You can also then get your concealed carry permit. What is your concealed carry permit getting consist of? Well, an Arm the Populace concealed carry course. It's a 1-day, 8-hour course. We teach you basic gun safety, ammunition, revolvers, semi-automatics. The whole point of that is if you walked into that party scenario, there are kids playing in a room and there's a gun, you could make it safe. Regardless of what type of handgun it is, you know the movements to check the gun to make it safe. Then we go through grip, stance, sight alignment, trigger pull, all the things you need to know how to do if, God forbid, you have to use your gun in self-defense. Then we go through the application process. Because going through the class isn't enough. Then you need to file with the sheriff's department and they do their stuff. So we walk you through how to do all that. Then we go through the laws. Where you can carry, where you can't. What happens if you get stopped by a police officer for speeding and you have your gun on you? Under what conditions can you shoot somebody? These are pretty important things to know. After that, we go to a range where we use real guns and we get you qualified. At that point now, you are legal to carry a sidearm, concealed, open, whatever. My suggestion is put basic gun safety in some type of senior level course, regardless, that people have to take. Things like What happens when your parents get old and die or get ready to die? How do you handle that? Some things that maybe we should come out of high school knowing. So, that brings me to a next point I want to cover in this. The I don't like guns people. For whatever reason. They just don't like them, they don't understand them, they think they're too violent. For whatever reason, they don't like guns. Well, okay, there's still no reason to be a victim. So I would encourage those of you out there, because I talk to you all the time, if you're not going to carry a gun, although criminals carry guns all the time, there is a heroin epidemic in this country, which I believe heroin, last time I checked, is illegal. There's going to be guns, but you're going to stay away from them. You're not going to own any. You don't want to be around them. But if you have nothing, no weapon, no nothing, I asked one of our concealed carry students to come onto this show. She's a very petite, slight young woman. So we take guns out of the equation, and we're going to show you several scenarios later on what happens with your own eyes so you can see it. But we take guns out of the equation. At least carry something like a hammer. Well, Doug, why not a baseball bat? One, because if you're carrying a baseball bat, even with a concealed carry permit, without a ball and glove, that's a felony. This is a tool. In anybody's mind, this is a tool. Unless I have to crack your skull with it because you put your hands on me, at that point it's a weapon. Now let's go back to basic physics. Force is mass times acceleration. A baseball bat, there's a bigger swing and there's a larger area of impact. Something like a claw hammer brought down, all of that force is concentrated right there. You don't have to take big swings with a claw hammer. You can simply flick a claw hammer and do massive damage. The reason I bring this up is because not only do I get the I don't like gun people, but I run into this scenario sometimes. My baby's daddy's a good dude, but he beats me, but he's a good father. I don't understand that logic, but I get it all the time. I don't want to strap up every time he comes over to pick up little Mary Sue. What can I do? Home court advantage. Home court advantage and I don't like guns go hand in hand. Now my home court advantage is I have guns in all of the rooms in my house, if you know where to look. So I completely play up home court advantage. They're all safe, they're all secure, but I know exactly where they are and they're ready to go. But if you're not going to do that, leave a hammer laying around with a few picture nails just up on a shelf. Keep yourself within arm's reach of it, so if Joe Bob gets too grabby, a flick of the wrist will back him the hell off you. Besides a hammer, something as simple as a screwdriver. A screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, basically becomes a puncture wound maker without a lot of force. Funny enough, over in Europe where guns are illegal, everybody carries one of these. This is a tactical pin. It's made out of aircraft grade aluminum. It's a pin, it's a writing utensil. But I can take this and I can drive it through your skull if I have to. I can scratch you down to the bone, taking out eyes, teeth, whatever, if I have to. Everybody carries these in Europe because they can't carry a gun. But what I want, my thesis on this is, something like this is great because I'm a big believer, don't rely on one tool to save your life. Carry a lot of stuff. If this is what allows me to get to my gun, great, then I use this. If it's something else, great. But rely on more than one tool. But my point of contention is, do you really want to get into a tactical pin fight with someone that is 6'4", 400 pounds? Because I don't. I'll tell you right now, I don't want to get into a hammer fight with me. I don't want to get into a screwdriver fight with my brother Eric. I don't want to get into a tactical pin fight with my brother Charlie. Now, if that were the only way to stay alive, great, then I'm a tactical pin using person, but that's not really what I want to do. Tactical flashlights are great. I like them because they are a first strike weapon. That's blinding. Not only that, they're serrated, which we'll show you later. It's very easy to come down, scoop the eye, whatever. Again, everybody in Europe carries these because they can't carry guns. But if I'm being attacked by someone like me, I still want more than a flashlight. You see it in every show I'm in, I always carry, it's my neck knife. It's my everyday carry. I use it for everything from stirring my coffee, digging under my fingernails, opening my mail. I wash it off in between, but yes, it does all these things. It's my everyday carry knife. It's almost like one of my fingers ends in this little blade that I do all this stuff with. But I also know that in a moment's notice, it can be a very deadly weapon. In fact, I was training with it recently. Real steel isn't forgiving. But this is another tool to save my life. They make one especially for women. It's what they call a push dagger design, because in a code red situation, you clench up. Once you make your fist around this, there is no way for that to get knocked out of my hand. And once I don't have to throw Mike Tyson blows to get you back off me. In the industry, they're known as bogas. Back off, get away. So, the other thing, as corny and cliche as it may be, the idea of a rape whistle or just an attention whistle. I prefer my granddad's one. It's a military one. Yeah, I know, it's loud. I use it in class when people aren't paying attention. In fact, if you've taken the class, you've probably heard it. But it would definitely get your attention. And that's what you want in a code red situation if you're being attacked. So carry a taser, carry an expandable baton, carry a tactical pin, carry a flashlight, carry a neck knife. But my argument is, all of those options, do you still want to try it against someone like me, or Charlie G, or Eric? Hell no, because I don't. So, I had a chance recently, my brother and I were at the Democratic Party Unity Cook-Off, and I met this very sweet woman who, when I told her what I did, sort of gave me the vampire treatment. But I'm all about finding common ground, because there were those that were honest enough to say, hey, I'm amazed that you're here. And I'm like, you know what, going to an NRA rally, that's easy. I want to go where people have the attitude of, I hate guns, I don't like guns, whatever. See if we can't find common ground, because that's the only way we're going to move forward, right? So I'm talking to this nice lady, and she explains to me that she hates guns. I ask why. Well, she was attacked, and she was attacked by some maniac with a knife. A sweet, nice, older lady, some knife-wielding maniac. And I was like, oh my God, how did you survive? And she said, well, I fought like hell. At one point, she had the knife wedged in her hand to keep it away from her face. It went through her arm between the two bones, and she wrestled with this guy. She starts rolling up her sleeves to show me these scars on her body from this attack. To me, it sounds something like a shark attack. That's the only thing I can imagine it would be like, to have some maniac just hacking at you with a kitchen knife. And her point was this. She said, well, the reason I don't like guns is because if he would have had a gun, I'd be dead. And I said, you're right. You're absolutely right. There's no way to fight back against a gun. But, nice sweet lady, if you would have had a gun, you wouldn't have gotten all cut up. So, once again, complaining without offering a solution is whining. Our solution is the name of our organization. Arm the populace. More good people with guns in society makes for a politer society. If you take guns out of the equation, we go back to the Dark Ages, which means it is the right of might. I am bigger and I'm stronger, so I can do whatever I want. I don't want to have a sword fight with me. I don't want to have an axe fight with me. I don't want to have to joust with me. I'm minding my own business. I just want to go to the store and I want to go home. So to ensure that I can do so unmolested, unchallenged, unjousted, unbludgeoned, unaxed, unsworded, unknifed, undirked, undaggered, I got legal. I always carry. And I stay vigilant. I watch my back. I watch each other. We try to watch each other's. On that note, we've got a couple of special things coming up in our variety show. We're going to go outside, and because I know some of you, what you're thinking right now. You're thinking, well, Doug, you just told us at the beginning of the show you're 6'4", 400 pounds, you look like a Sasquatch. Of course, you can use a hammer for self-defense. You can hit someone with a feather duster and it'd do the same thing. Okay, that's a fair argument. So I asked Erica to come out and to test my theorem, which is basic high school physics, and we'll see if I'm right or not about wrenches and hammers and tactical pen force magnifiers and tactical flashlights and things like that. Then we're going to create some scenarios involving hammer on hammer, hammer on meat cleaver and hammer, Mace. We'll bring mace into the equation for all of you that say, well, I don't need a gun. I have mace. Let's talk about mace. We're going to do all of that. And then with using the green screen, it's really cool and it's a great tool. But like with any tool, you got to learn how to use it. You got to learn how to shoot a Glock. You got to learn how to use green screen. So I wanted to, you always hear me talking, you always see my face, but you always see my family and my brothers around me. I couldn't do this without them. So what I want to do, and we're going to keep doing this as we get closer and closer to the election. At this point, we're apolitical. Doesn't matter who they're voting for, that's not the point. The point is what we do. Arm the Populace promotes safe gun ownership, safe responsible gun ownership, and positive law enforcement interaction. The reason we're recommended by sheriff's departments, by Blue Ash, by Mason, by these places is because they've interacted with our students, because they've gotten pulled over for a tail light or speeding or whatever, and our students have known exactly how to handle it. To leave the officer at ease, to make sure they leave safely, no harm, no foul, but you may get a ticket. But that is how our name has gotten out there. So I want to step off camera. And I want to turn this over to my family. You're going to hear from Eric or Hulk. You see him with the battle rifle all the time. You're going to hear from my other brother, Charlie G. You see him with Miss Jones and a few of his other toys. That's his AR. And you're going to hear from our consummate range safety officer, my brother Ozo. And the more we get close to the election, the next upcoming months, you're going to see more and more of them. So that way it's not just me talking to you, because you see my face, you hear my voice. You can probably imagine, and if you've spent any time with me at all, you know what a gun dude named Doug is like. I want you to get to know the other members of Arm the Populace, because we function as a unit, we function as a team, we function as a family. So hang on, and we're going to go knock some stuff around. You're going to hear from some other people, and we're going to continue right along with the variety show.
So pretty much, I made the decision to go and get my CCW. There's a lot of reasons why I did that, and I know some people, they might not be ready to make that choice, even though it's something I highly recommend. There is, yes, a list full of reasons why I carry. One, I'm young, I'm only 22, I have a very small body build, so some people may look at me and think I'm an easy target if I'm walking out of work maybe one day and I have a wallet full of cash. You know, I had a good day or whatever, and somebody tries to grab me up, go into my car. You know, it's not going to happen because I made that decision. Some of the other things is I'm a mom. I want to protect my kid if anything happens. You know, whether we're out at the store or we're just going out to the park, you know, you don't know what people are going to do. And it's not just for me when I carry, because I know a lot of people are intimidated when they find out that I do. I just don't want to protect myself. I want to protect others. I want to protect the people around me, whether you're my family, you're my friend, or you're just somebody sitting next to me on the bus. You know, I got my CCW because I made that choice. It could be an act of terrorism. It could be anything, you know, and I want to avoid it at all costs. You never know when you're going to have to defend yourself, and you don't always have to carry. For those of you who are really too afraid to carry, there's other options. There's hammers, there's screwdrivers, you can have mace, you can have a wrench in your car, you can have a flashlight. I mean, there's a number of things that you could use. It's not just guns. So either way, I think you should go get your CCW, get that done. And
would you say it's a mindset?
Definitely the mindset you have to have. Are you going to be afraid, or are you going to stand up for yourself? Is the question at the end of the day.
So what would you try to encourage people to do?
To go get their CCW. That's exactly what I encourage them to do. Just go. Learn about the classes. You know, it's not scary like a lot of people think. There's nothing to be intimidated of, especially not another person, an attacker. Definitely.
And for the people that say they're too busy, it's a one-day class. You actually have a few jobs. You're a very hard-working young woman.
Yep, one day out of the weekend, a couple hours. It was a lot of fun. You can go. It's really easy. It's not this huge process. It's not, oh, I have never used a gun before. You don't have to have used a gun before. That's why you go to the class. That's why you educate yourself. that's why you surround yourself with people who are going to be able to help you achieve that.
Have you found people who were ever off put when they found out you were a concealed carry holder?
Yeah, quite a few actually, whether it's at work and I bring it up as small talk or anything, they're like they wouldn't trust me almost, and I'm like, you would say that until I'm the only person somewhere in the movie theater or whatever, and somebody comes in with a gun. This little girl is how a lot of people view me. She had a gun, and she did something about it. You would be thanking me then. So it's just something to think about.
Thank you very much, Erica. It was
the G, and yes, you have to say the G at the end. My topic today is what I want to talk about. This whole Black Lives Matter thing. I know we all done heard about it. I want you to hear from me, my mouth, about this whole Black Lives Matter movement. Last time I checked, people were talking about having safe havens for different races. Correct me if I'm wrong, older brother. Wasn't that back where there were nigger pies? I'm just saying.
And there was white pies.
Different fountains for different colors.
Black fountains, white fountains.
They also had different bathrooms for different colors. Last time I checked, as well as this whole Black Lives Matter thing, which I was robbed by a black guy. I know a couple of us have ran into Thundercats that were black.
I was robbed by a black guy too. Actually, a few weeks ago. Still looking for you.
So this whole Black Lives Matter thing, does that mean the Thundercats too? Because they can't come in my boat. They can't be in my say. That don't work for me. I got a son.
But what about the police and accountability?
That one too. There has never in history been a phone call to 911 emergency about a police officer down the street talking, y'all better get up off the block, I'll shoot everybody. I ain't playing with y'all, man. Shit about to get real up in here. No. It don't happen like that. It's an average black person, such as myself, a mother, a father, calling because there's young black kids down the street letting off rounds at another individual, bad drug deal, something like that, and they kids in the front yard playing. Y'all really want to make this movement about Black Lives Matter? Let's first of all make a movement toward trying to make a change in our local neighborhoods. Moving out drug dealers and stuff like that. I don't care about the color. I care about the drug. I don't want that near my kid. I know none of y'all want it near y'all kids, right? So am I wrong for thinking that way? Please, hit me on Facebook. Do what y'all need to do. But you're hearing it from Charlie G's mouth. And that's the truth.
Brother Ozone.
Yo, what's going on, folks? I've been with ATP. I've been in the back scene, and yeah, it's time to step forward. My feel is ATP. We are a family. There have been speak out there about, oh, Doug's racist and this, that, carrying on. But right here in front of the camera, as you can see, I think the background's a little bit darker than the whole cast.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to color, I think we crossed that barrier.
I'm brown.
I'm chocolate.
I'm just cute.
I'm all three.
But with life has changed. Due to drugs, due to hard times. Yes, people have changed. There's no way you can say on a day-to-day basis what's going to go on. Also, I'm a lieutenant of a bike club, the Buccaneers. And on top of that, we accept the fact that when we get on our bikes, that's our choice to possibly be our last time to ride our bike. But I'm telling you this right here, this is where you have to fall back on your highest level of training. And to be trained, know your laws, be vigilant, be correct, and know when you're in the right. So therefore, you can protect your loved ones, your friends, your families. Could be just somebody sitting at a bus stop. But this non-senseless shooting, for what? We have just about every night for about a week, 2 or 3 people got shot. Maybe 2 or 3 people got killed. When we talk about Black Lives Matter, it's not just Black lives. is lives in general.
Yes.
Period.
Exactly.
Because regardless to what color you are, if we the same type of blood, I ain't never heard no white man say at the hospital, I don't want no blood because it came out of a black man.
Me neither.
I'll take my chances to die. I haven't heard nobody say, I don't want no heart from a black man. You know, and when you weigh out the pros and cons, we all here together. We gotta live with one another. But as they say, you can't step into the light without dark. And when shit gets real, it's real. But me, I'm just a humble person, love my family, my friends, and love being here.
Sure, brother.
Click, click.
Clack, clack.
Bang.
Copy paste.
Copy, paste. It is what it is.
So, like I said earlier, inside, when we're talking about these various things that aren't weapons, they're tools, but under dire circumstances can easily become very effective weapons. Well, of course, Doug, it works for you. You're big. It works for your brother Eric, your brother Charlie. They're all big. Okay? Fair. So here's what I did. I got a very nice lady who is one of the most petite CCW students that have ever gone through the class, who is also adamant about her self-defense, her family's self-defense, to come out here and try some of these things. The first is the very common household claw hammer. This, with a few picture nails sprinkled around it, you leave it in a bookcase, on top of a shelf, whatever, within arm's reach to get to, because you don't have to swing like a baseball bat with a hammer. A flick of the wrist delivers terrifying damage. So, if you don't mind, this is Erica. This is actually one of the harder plastic ones. She's gonna give it a love tap with the hammer and see what happens. A little harder. Swing it like you mean it. Go down. It's not just a puncture hole. Again, fluids can only be displaced so much. That is tremendous force driving that in. Now, besides a hammer, got another volunteering milk jug. I want you to try this, just a wrench. But imagine you're, that's why she's part of ATP. Imagine the jawline, swing for the fences. So let's go back to high school physics. Force equals mass times acceleration. So if I may, there's nothing sharp about this, but all of that force got concentrated right there, that one little spot. And again, this wasn't cut with a knife, it was the force trauma. Now, let's try a couple other things. This is where I'm gonna need my brother Eric to step in. Everybody knows what a pizza box is like. We've all had pizza delivered or carry out. You could argue maybe as hard as human skin. We know it's not, but let's say it is. So this is what I was talking about earlier, the tactical pen. It's a writing utensil. But if needed, if you don't mind, come into the camera and just that's my finger coming through. One last thing, we always talk about don't rely on one tool to save your life. I always talk about carrying a good flashlight, but a tactical flashlight has serrations. So what I would like for you to do is put your thumb behind it. The idea is that you're bringing it down and feel the edges are kind of sharp. You'll be bringing it right down on the attacker's face. Eric, to the pizza box. Now, for size comparison, Erica, if you will, I realized that Eric and I are pretty big guys. My nephew Junior, if you don't mind coming out here.
What's up?
This is Junior. He's part of ATP. He actually knows all the rules of gun safety. He shoots mows into guns.
That's true.
But there you go. 2nd grade size comparison. If it works for her, it'll work for you. Take ownership of your self-preservation. Don't rely on one tool, your husband, your boyfriend, your brother, to save your life. People love you. You love other people. It's your responsibility to get home safe to them. Arm the Populace. See you next month. At Arm the Populace, one of the things we believe in is showing is learning. We take a very hands-on approach with our concealed carry class, with our combat tactical classes. I'm going to run you through some scenarios. So, young woman leaving for work, unarmed, kind of unaware, runs into an assailant with a hammer, assailant with hammer, and frees. What happens now? Young woman probably gets beaten, drug off, who knows? So, thank you, assailant. Let's try scenario 2. Young woman gets her own hammer. Okay, that's a good start. So, here comes assailant with a screwdriver. Enter assailant with screwdriver. Oh my God, it's an assailant. Freeze. Now, do you really want to get into a hammer fight with this? I will if I have to, but let's make it worse. Assailant number 3. It's not just one this time that she's got to hammer fight with. There is another one, brandishing a meat cleaver that looks remarkably like Mr. Slicey. These odds are getting worse. So let's try something else. Thank you, assailants. Thank you, nice young lady. She goes out and gets herself a good can of self-defense spray. Who got hair dye instead of silly string, but that's what we're gonna use. So, you're gonna pay for your mistakes. The assailants come up, dries, and she is ready with her glowing glitz spray. Oh no! Okay. So I would rather have a hammer than nothing. It's a good start. Against 1, maybe. 2, probably not. 3, I need a better plan. Okay, thank you, assailants. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get a good, high quality, military grade self-defense spray in case there are multiple assailants. Multiple assailants, please come forward. Now, the young lady is prepared with mace. Keep coming. Now that I'm ready to get into a poison video, I've got enough, aquanetted my lack of hair, but that's pretty good. So if you're not gonna carry a gun, at least carry a self-defense spray. But, what if we do this? What if one of the assailants, and she's got her self-defense spray, comes up and does this? Even blinded, he pulls the trigger. That young nice lady loses. So, I have a solution. May I give you one of these?
Thank you, Doug.
Let's try this again. Now the nice young lady has gone through a Arm the Populace $65 concealed carry course, has filed with the Sheriff's Department, and is legally armed. So this time if Bubba, Pookie, Ray Ray, and Skillet come up to her, keep coming, bang, pow, boom, go back and die, bang, bang, pow,
Oh, my leg. I think you shot me in my pinky toe. Oh.
die, keep dying. Thus we have the moral of the story. God created man, Samuel Colt made him equal. At the end of the day, this nice lady, law-abiding, legally armed citizen, stays alive because she took ownership of her self-preservation. Let Arm the Populace help you.